The trip that didn't happen. You didn't leave? The words slipped out of my mouth before I could stop them. I was standing at the top of the stairs, still in my robe, coffee mug warming my hands. Morning light poured through the hallway window. That soft suburban glow that always made everything look calm, safe, even when it wasn't. He stood at the front door, suit jacket on, travel bag at his feet, car keys in his hand. My husband, Ethan. He looked up slowly, like he was measuring my reaction, like he was watching something invisible unfold behind my eyes. "No," he said casually. "Trip got canceled." The mug nearly slipped from my fingers. Canceled? My heart didn't just skip. It slammed hard against my ribs. I felt it in my throat, in my ears, in the way my legs suddenly felt unsteady, like I'd stepped off a curb that wasn't there. "Oh," I said too quickly. "Canceled." He nodded. "Last-minute issue. Weather. Client pushed it." I forced a smile, forced my face to stay neutral. Normal. Wives didn't panic when their husbands stayed home. Normal wives were relieved. But I wasn't relieved. I was frozen. Because that trip, the 3-day conference in Denver, was supposed to be my window, my carefully planned stretch of freedom, my margin for error. And now it was gone. Ethan watched me from the doorway, his eyes steady, unreadable. I couldn't tell if he noticed how tightly I was gripping the mug, how my knuckles had gone white. That's too bad," I said, swallowing. "You must be disappointed." "Yeah," he replied. "But things happen." He didn't move, didn't step inside or set the bag down. He just stood there like he was waiting for something, for me to say something wrong. I turned away too fast, suddenly aware of how exposed I felt. "I was just about to start breakfast," I said. "Eggs." "Sure." My feet carried me down the stairs on autopilot. I focused on normal things, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint ticking of the clock above the stove, the smell of coffee. Before we begin, if you enjoy stories that touch the heart and remind us of life's quiet miracles, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It truly helps our little storytelling family grow. But inside, my thoughts were racing. This wasn't supposed to happen. For weeks, everything had been built around that trip. I'd circled the dates on the calendar with a smile that hid far too much. I'd watched Ethan pack the night before, folding his shirts neatly, checking his itinerary. I'd kissed him goodnight knowing that by this time today, he'd be thousands of miles away, and I would finally be able to breathe. Now he was here, behind me. I felt his presence before I heard him. The faint rustle of fabric as he stepped into the kitchen. The soft thud of his bag hitting the floor. "You okay?" he asked. "Yes," I said too fast again. "Why wouldn't I be?" He hummed quietly like he was unconvinced. I cracked eggs into the pan, my hands trembling just enough that one shell shattered awkwardly. I cursed under my breath and reached for a towel. "Let me," Ethan said, stepping closer. "No," I snapped, then immediately softened my tone. "I've got it." I could feel his eyes on my back. The weight of them pressed into my skin. Every move I made felt wrong, exaggerated, suspicious. I was suddenly hyper-aware of everything. The phone on the counter. The locked guest room door upstairs. The text message I hadn't deleted yet. How had I been so stupid? We'd been married 12 years. 12 years of barbecues and soccer games and polite neighbors who waved from their driveways. 12 years of routine and expectations and the quiet agreement that we knew each other. But lately something had shifted. Ethan had become observant in a way that made my stomach twist. He noticed small things. Asked questions he never used to ask. Came home earlier than expected. Remembered details I was sure I'd buried. I told myself I was imagining it. Now I wasn't so sure. We ate breakfast mostly in silence. The sound of forks against plates felt too loud. Every second stretched, heavy and uncomfortable. "So," he said eventually, "what were you planning to do while I was gone?" There it was. I kept my eyes on my plate. The usual. Work. Laundry. Maybe catch up with Claire. Claire, he repeated. That's your answer for everything. I laughed a little too sharply. She's my best friend. I know. He leaned back in his chair, studying me. You seemed excited about the trip. Did I? I shrugged. It's nice when you get opportunities like that. I'm proud of you. That's not what I meant. I finally looked up. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp, focused, like he was watching a suspect, not a spouse. You had plans, he said. Didn't you? My mouth went dry. Everyone has plans, I said carefully. That doesn't mean anything. He held my gaze for a long moment, then smiled. It should have comforted me. Instead, it made my skin crawl. Well, he said, standing up, guess I'll unpack. My heart dropped. Unpack? You're not going into the office? I asked. Not today, he said. Thought I'd work from home. Surprise. Surprise. The word echoed in my head as he walked out of the kitchen and up the stairs. I sat there long after he was gone, staring at the half-eaten eggs, my appetite completely gone. My hands were shaking now. I wrapped my arms around myself, trying to steady my breathing. This wasn't just bad luck. This felt intentional. I stood slowly and glanced at the counter. My phone was still there, screen dark. I picked it up, my pulse pounding. No new messages. But there was one from last night. Can't wait till he's gone. I hadn't deleted it. My stomach flipped. I hurried to the sink, pretending to clean, listening for Ethan's footsteps upstairs. I heard a door open, a drawer slide out. The guest room. The room that wasn't supposed to matter. I'd told myself 100 times that nothing was wrong, that I was allowed to want more, that it wasn't betrayal if it hadn't fully crossed a line. But now, with Ethan home, watching, listening, unpacking, the lies felt thin, fragile. I felt like a woman standing on ice, hearing the first crack. And the worst part? Somewhere deep down, beneath the panic, beneath the fear, I had a terrifying thought. What if he didn't cancel the trip? What if he never planned to go at all? The house felt smaller. The house had never felt so small. Every creak of the floorboards sounded like an accusation. Every shadow in the hallway felt like it was watching me. I moved through the rooms carefully, quietly, like I was a guest in my own home. Ethan was upstairs, unpacking. The zipper of his suitcase rasped open, then closed. A drawer slid. Another pause. Then footsteps, slow, deliberate, moving from room to room. I stayed in the kitchen longer than necessary, scrubbing an already clean pan, my mind spiraling. Think. He couldn't know. Not yet. I had been careful. So careful. I told myself I was managing everything, balancing the truth just enough that no one got hurt. But now the balance was gone. I glanced at my phone again, then quickly locked it and slid it into my pocket like it might burn me. Upstairs, a door opened. The guest room. My heart jumped into my throat. That room was supposed to be untouched. Neutral. A safe, boring space with a bed no one slept in and a closet full of coats we barely used. I had told myself that as long as nothing changed in that room, everything was still under control. But things had changed. I heard Ethan's footsteps pause. Then silence. Too much silence. I dried my hands and forced myself to breathe normally. I couldn't look guilty. I couldn't act like anything was wrong. If I did, I might as well confess. So I walked. Each step toward the stairs felt heavier than the last. I reached the bottom and looked up. Ethan called, trying to sound casual. Did you want more coffee? There was a beat before he answered. No, he said. I'm good. His voice sounded different. Not angry. Not suspicious. Thoughtful. I climbed the stairs slowly. When I reached the hallway, I saw him standing in the guest room doorway, one hand on the frame, the other holding a jacket. That jacket. My chest tightened. It wasn't one of his. It was mine. I swallowed hard. What are you doing? He turned to me, lifting the jacket slightly. I didn't know you'd moved your things in here. I didn't, I said quickly. I mean, I just needed space in the closet. Winter coats. He nodded like that explanation made sense. But his eyes didn't leave my face. Funny, he said. I don't remember that jacket. It's old, I replied. From years ago. That's strange, he said lightly. Because it smells new. The words hit me like a slap. Smells new. I forced a laugh. That's ridiculous. Is it? He stepped back into the room, hanging the jacket carefully inside the closet. My stomach twisted as I watched him adjust it, making sure it was perfectly aligned with the others, like he was cataloging evidence. You seem tense, he said. I'm not. You sure? Yes. He smiled again. That same unsettling smile from earlier. The one that didn't reach his eyes. Maybe I'm imagining it, he said. I guess I just expected a quiet house today. I nodded. Me too. We stood there, the silence stretching. I could feel sweat forming at the base of my neck. Finally, he walked past me into the hallway. As he passed, his hand brushed my arm. It was brief, gentle, intentional. I'm going to set up in the office, he said. Big calls today. Of course, I replied. He disappeared down the hallway, and I let out a shaky breath I hadn't realized I was holding. Get it together. I went back downstairs, my thoughts racing. I needed to do damage control. Delete messages. Hide things. Act normal. I pulled my phone out again. Still nothing new. But that didn't calm me. I opened the message thread, my thumb hovering over the screen. Can't wait till he's gone. God, how had I let myself write that? I deleted it, then deleted the entire conversation. My hands were shaking. I stood by the window, staring out at the quiet suburban street. A woman walked her dog. A delivery truck rolled by. Everything looked so ordinary, like my world wasn't about to collapse. Around noon, Ethan came downstairs. Lunch? He asked. Sure, I said, though my stomach was still in knots. We made sandwiches together, moving around each other with the awkward politeness of strangers. He chatted about work, clients, deadlines, meetings. I nodded at the right moments, smiling when expected. Felt like a performance. Halfway through eating, he put his sandwich down. I ran into Mark yesterday, he said casually. My heart skipped. Mark? Yeah, from your gym. Oh, I said, forcing calm. Him. He mentioned you. My pulse roared in my ears. What about me? He said you've been going more often. That's not strange, I said. I like staying active. I know, Ethan replied. He just said you seemed happier. I stiffened. Happier? I echoed. Yeah. He studied me. Are you happier lately? The question felt loaded. I guess, I said carefully. Is that a problem? No, he said. Just curious. I looked at him, then really looked at him. His posture was relaxed, his tone conversational. But his eyes were locked on mine, searching. I suddenly remembered something. A comment he'd made weeks ago. Everyone slips eventually. At the time I'd laughed it off. Now I wondered if he'd been talking about me. That afternoon dragged on endlessly. Ethan stayed in his office with the door half open. I tried to keep myself busy, laundry, cleaning, reorganizing drawers that didn't need reorganizing. I avoided the guest room, avoided my phone, avoided thinking. By evening, my nerves were shot. We ate dinner quietly, watched TV on opposite ends of the couch. He didn't touch me, didn't accuse me, didn't ask anything else. That was somehow worse. When we went to bed, I lay awake long after he fell asleep, staring at the ceiling. My mind replayed every moment of the day, searching for clues. Was he suspicious? Was he testing me? Or was this all in my head? At around 2 a.m. I heard him move. I kept my eyes closed, pretending to sleep. He slid out of bed quietly. I listened as he walked out of the bedroom. Then the guest room door opened. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might wake him. Minutes passed. 5, 10. Then the door closed again. He returned to bed, settling beside me like nothing had happened. I lay there frozen, my thoughts screaming. What had he been doing in there? What had he found? By morning, I knew one thing for sure. This wasn't just a canceled trip. It was a trap. And I was already inside it. The questions he didn't ask. The scariest part wasn't what Ethan said. It was what he didn't. Morning came without ceremony. No confrontation. No accusations. No icy silence or slammed doors. Just the soft buzz of his alarm and the familiar rustle of sheets as he got out of bed. I lay there pretending to sleep, every nerve awake. He leaned over me and kissed my forehead. The tenderness nearly broke me. "I'm heading out early," he whispered. "Office stuff." Relief hit so hard it made me dizzy. I waited until I heard the shower, then the dresser drawers, then his footsteps down the stairs. Only when the front door closed did I finally sit up. My hands were shaking. I checked my phone. Nothing. No messages. No missed calls. No signs of disaster. But the feeling wouldn't go away. Because if Ethan truly suspected me, if he was even halfway sure, wouldn't he be angry? Wouldn't he ask? Instead, he was calm, patient, observant, like a man waiting for something to reveal itself. I went through the motions of my day like an actress following a script. Shower, makeup, work emails, coffee that went cold before I drank it. Every minute stretched thin, fragile. Around noon I got a message. "We still on for today?" My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen, my pulse pounding. I shouldn't answer. I knew that. Everything in me screamed that this was the moment to stop, to shut it down, delete the thread, pretend none of it had happened. But curiosity and fear won. "He didn't go," I typed. 3 dots appeared almost instantly. "What?" "Trip canceled." A pause. "That changes things." I swallowed hard. "We should cancel too," I wrote. This time the pause was longer. "Is that what you want?" I hesitated. Did I want that? I thought about Ethan's smile, his questions, the way he'd stood in the guest room doorway like he already knew the answers. "Yes," I typed. "It's not safe." Another pause. "Okay," came the reply. "That's what you need." I stared at the screen, a mix of relief and regret twisting in my chest. I deleted the conversation. Again. That afternoon I couldn't sit still. I paced the house, checking windows, doors, corners of rooms like I expected to find something hidden. Something watching me. When Ethan came home early again, my heart sank. "Thought you were busy," I said, trying to sound casual. "Meetings got moved," he replied. "Seems to be a theme." He set his briefcase down and loosened his tie. "You've been home all day?" he asked. "Yes." "Anyone stop by?" "No." He nodded. "Quiet day then." "Very." He watched me for a moment, then smiled. "Good." That night he cooked dinner. Ethan never cooked. He moved confidently around the kitchen, chopping vegetables, seasoning meat. The smell filled the house, warm and comforting, like a memory from earlier years of our marriage. "Thought I'd try something new," he said. "You're always saying I don't surprise you anymore." I forced a laugh. "I didn't mean it like that." "I know." But he said it like he did mean it like that. Over dinner he talked about us. About the early days. About the tiny apartment we'd shared when money was tight but everything felt possible. "You remember how we promised each other something back then?" he asked. I nodded cautiously. "What?" "That we'd always be honest," he said. "Even when it was uncomfortable." My fork froze halfway to my mouth. "Yes," I said quietly. "Do you think people can keep that promise forever?" he asked. "I don't know," I replied. "People change." "True," he said. "But lies have a way of aging badly." My appetite vanished. After dinner we sat on the couch again. This time he draped an arm around me. I felt trapped. "Ethan," I said. "Is something wrong?" He looked at me, genuinely surprised. Why would you ask that? I struggled for words. You've been different. He considered this. So have you. The words hung between us. I worry about you, he continued. You seem distracted, distant. I've just been tired, I said. Tired people make mistakes, he replied calmly. I stiffened. What kind of mistakes? All kinds, he said. Some small, some irreversible. I pulled away slightly. You're scaring me. That's not my intention, he said gently. I just believe in transparency. I nodded, my throat tight. That night I couldn't sleep. Around midnight, I slipped out of bed quietly and padded down the hall. I stopped outside the guest room. The door was closed. My hand hovered over the knob. Don't, I told myself. But I did anyway. The room looked normal. Too normal. The bed was neatly made. The closet closed. Nothing out of place. But then I noticed the desk. One drawer was slightly open. My heart pounding, I slid it open. Inside was my phone. The spare one. The one I'd forgotten about. My breath caught. I stared at it, my mind racing. I hadn't used that phone in weeks, but I'd never gotten rid of it. I'd hidden it here, telling myself it was harmless. Useless. Apparently not. Footsteps sounded behind me. I turned slowly. Ethan stood in the doorway. I wondered when you'd find it, he said. My legs felt weak. Why is this here? You tell me. He replied calmly. I swallowed hard. You went through my things? I didn't have to, he said. You left enough breadcrumbs. Ethan. Sure, he said softly. I'm not angry. That terrified me more than if he'd been screaming. I just wanted to see how far you'd go without being asked, he continued. How long you'd keep lying if I gave you space. I felt tears sting my eyes. I didn't mean to hurt you. I know, he said. That's the funny thing. He stepped closer. Tomorrow, he said, we're going to have a conversation. My heart sank. A real one, he added. No half-truths. No omissions. He took the phone from the drawer and slipped it into his pocket. Get some sleep, he said gently. You'll need it. As he walked away, I realized something chilling. He hadn't canceled the trip because of weather. He'd canceled it because of me. The conversation I couldn't escape. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed beside him, staring into the dark, listening to his breathing slow and steady as if nothing had happened. As if he hadn't just dismantled the last illusion I'd been clinging to. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the spare phone sitting in that drawer. Waiting. Silent. Accusing. By morning my body felt hollowed out. Ethan woke before me. I felt the mattress dip as he sat up, then the soft brush of his hand against my shoulder. Morning, he said gently. I opened my eyes. Morning. No anger. No tension in his voice. Just calm. That calm terrified me. He got dressed and left the room without another word. I waited a few minutes before getting up, bracing myself like I was about to step into a courtroom. The kitchen smelled like coffee. He'd already made it. Sit, he said when I entered. Not unkindly, but not optional. I sat at the table, wrapping my hands around the mug even though it burned. My nerves were shot. We're not doing this to punish anyone, he said, taking the chair across from me. I want you to understand that. I nodded, though my throat felt tight. This is about clarity, he continued. About respect. I stared into my coffee. How long? He asked. The question landed heavily between us. How long what? I whispered. You know what? I swallowed. A few months. He nodded slowly. And how long were you planning to let it go on? I wasn't planning, I said quickly. It just happened. That's rarely true, he replied calmly. People always plan something, even if it's just what they'll say when they're caught. I flinched. I didn't sleep with him, I said. The words rushed out of me, desperate. If that matters. It matters, he said. But not as much as you think. I looked up at him then. What does that mean? It means betrayal isn't just physical, he said. It's the choosing, the secrecy, the way you rearranged your life around someone else. Tears blurred my vision. I felt invisible, I said. For a long time. He didn't interrupt. I tried to tell you, I continued. I hinted. I complained. I got tired of being the one holding everything together. I know, he said softly. And that part is on me. That surprised me. But, he added, what you did afterward, that was your choice. I nodded. Yes. Silence stretched between us. Do you love him? Ethan asked. The question hit harder than I expected. No, I said quickly. I don't even know him the way I know you. But you wanted him, Ethan said. I hesitated. Yes, I admitted. He leaned back in his chair, absorbing that. I didn't cancel the trip to trap you, he said after a moment. At least not at first. My chest tightened. What do you mean? I had a feeling, he said. Call it instinct. Or pattern recognition. You changed. Small things. Nothing dramatic. I looked down at my hands. When I booked the trip, I thought maybe distance would clarify things, he continued. For both of us. And then? I asked. And then I saw the message, he said. My heart dropped. You went through my phone? No, he replied. It popped up on the screen when you left it on the counter. I closed my eyes, shame washing over me. Once I saw it, he continued, I had a choice. What choice? I asked. I could confront you immediately, he said. Or I could observe. And you chose to observe. Yes. My voice trembled. Why? Because I wanted to know who you'd be if I gave you enough rope, he said calmly. Whether you'd come clean on your own. I felt sick. So this was a test, I whispered. It was an opportunity, he corrected. One you didn't take. Tears spilled down my cheeks. I was scared. I know. The gentleness in his voice broke something in me. I didn't want to lose my life, I said. Our house. Our routines. Everything we built. And yet, he said quietly, you were willing to risk it. I nodded, sobbing now. I panicked when you didn't leave, I admitted. I thought everything would fall apart. And it did, he said. Just not the way you expected. We sat there for a long time. The coffee went cold. The sun climbed higher outside the window, illuminating the dust in the air, the ordinary details of a marriage under examination. What happens now? I finally asked. He studied me. That depends. On what? On whether you're ready to be honest, he said. Completely. I wiped my face. I am. Then you'll end it, he said. Fully. No more messages. No more justifications. I already did, I said. I canceled everything. He nodded. And I'll show you, I said. Whatever you need. He considered this. There's something else, he said. My stomach twisted. What? I want you to understand how close you came to losing everything, he said. Not as a threat. As a reality. I nodded slowly. Because forgiveness, he continued, requires accountability. I felt small. Exposed. I don't know if I can forgive you yet, he said honestly. But I'm willing to try. Relief and fear tangled in my chest. That means counseling, he said. Transparency. No secrets. Yes, I said immediately. And patience, he added. Because trust doesn't snap back into place. I know. He stood up, signaling the conversation was over for now. As he walked toward the door, he paused. One more thing, he said. I looked up. The panic I saw yesterday, he said quietly. That told me everything I needed to know. My face burned. But it also told me, he continued, that you still cared. He left the kitchen and I sat there alone, emotionally wrung out. That night, lying in bed beside him again, I realized something painful and humbling. The trip being canceled wasn't the worst thing that could have happened. The worst thing was realizing how easily I could have destroyed my own life, and how close I still was to doing it. After the panic, the days after the conversation didn't feel dramatic. There were no slammed doors, no shouting matches, no tearful ultimatums. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that presses against your ears and forces you to listen to your own thoughts. Ethan moved through the house carefully, like someone walking through a space that might still be fragile. He was polite, kind even, but something essential had shifted. The easy familiarity was gone, replaced by a cautious awareness, like we were both learning the layout of a house after a small earthquake. Nothing had collapsed, but cracks were everywhere. I expected punishment, distance, coldness. What I got instead was worse. Normalcy stripped of innocence. We went to work, paid bills, ate dinner together, talked about groceries and schedules and the neighbor's new dog. From the outside, nothing had changed. Inside me, everything had. I deleted every contact, every app, every trace. I handed Ethan my phone without him asking, gave him passwords, offered transparency so complete it felt like standing naked in bright light. He accepted it quietly, not triumphantly, not suspiciously, just thoughtfully. That was when it hit me. This wasn't about control. It was about choice. He was watching to see who I would be when no one forced me to behave. And that terrified me more than any confrontation could have. The first counseling session was brutal. Sitting in that beige office, answering questions out loud, hearing my rationalization spoken back to me in neutral tones, it stripped away every excuse I'd been clinging to. I didn't feel seen. I was lonely. I didn't think it would go that far. All of it sounded thinner when spoken aloud. Ethan didn't interrupt. He didn't defend himself. He didn't pile on. He just listened. And every time he did, I felt the weight of what I'd nearly thrown away. One night, about a week later, we sat on the back porch. Summer air, cicadas buzzing, the familiar sounds of our neighborhood settling into evening. I keep replaying it, I admitted. That moment, when I saw you at the door. He nodded. Me too. I thought my life was over, I said quietly. It almost was, he replied, not cruelly, just honestly. I winced. But not because I stayed, he continued. Because you were already halfway out. That hurt, because it was true. I didn't realize how reckless I'd become, I said. How entitled. You weren't entitled, he said. You were disconnected. That's different. But it still has consequences. I looked at him. Do you regret canceling the trip? He thought about it. No. Even knowing how ugly it got? Yes, he said. Because I'd rather see the truth than be comfortable in a lie. I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. That was the hardest lesson. I hadn't been protecting our marriage. I'd been protecting my comfort. Weeks passed. Slowly, cautiously, something new began to form between us. Not trust, not yet, but intention. We talked more. Sometimes awkwardly. Sometimes painfully. But honestly. There were days Ethan looked at me and I could tell the hurt was still there, sharp and fresh. On those days, I didn't ask for reassurance. I didn't demand forgiveness. I let him feel it. Because that was the price of what I'd done. One evening, I found him in the guest room. The door was open this time. He was standing by the desk, looking at the empty drawer where the spare phone had once been. I should repaint this room, I said softly. Make it something else. He turned to me. Why? Because it feels contaminated. He shook his head. No, it's just a room. I stepped closer. It feels like the place where everything almost fell apart. He studied me. Or the place where it stopped. That reframed everything. I hadn't thought of it that way. Later that night, Lying in bed beside him, I realized something else. The panic I'd felt, the pure animal fear, hadn't been about getting caught. It had been about losing him, losing the life we'd built, losing the version of myself that believed I was a good person who made one small mistake. That version of me didn't exist anymore, but maybe a more honest one could. Months later, the memory still lingers. Sometimes when Ethan grabs his keys unexpectedly, my chest tightens. Sometimes when my phone buzzes, I flinch. Consequences don't disappear just because forgiveness starts to grow. But there's also something else now. Presence. When we sit across from each other at dinner, we're really there. When we talk, we don't skim the surface. When he asks how I'm feeling, I answer honestly, even when it's uncomfortable. Especially then. One night, curled up on the couch, Ethan said quietly, "You know, when you said you didn't leave? That moment changed everything." I nodded. "For me too." "I saw your face," he said. "And I knew." "Knew what?" "That if I'd walked out that door like you expected," he said, "we'd be done by now." Tears slid down my cheeks. "I'm glad you didn't," I whispered. "So am I," he said. But his voice carried weight. Not relief. Resolve. Because staying didn't mean forgetting. It meant choosing to rebuild slowly, deliberately, without illusions. And I understand now. The trip being canceled wasn't punishment. It was a mirror. One that forced me to see myself clearly for the first time in years. I still don't know what the future holds. But I know this. When he stood in that doorway and said, "Trip canceled," my panic wasn't the end of my story. It was the beginning of my reckoning. And maybe if I keep choosing honesty over comfort, it can also be the beginning of something better.